My name is Dr. Ghassan Abu Sitta. I've just returned from Germany, where I had been prevented from entering the country for attending a conference in Germany to give evidence on the war in Gaza and my witness statement as a doctor working in its hospitals. So this morning at 10 o'clock I landed in Berlin to attend a conference on Palestine, where I had been asked, along with many others in the UK, in the United States and in Europe, to give my evidence of the 43 days that I had seen in the hospitals in Gaza, working in both Shifa and Al-Ahli Hospital. Upon arrival, I was stopped at the passport office. I was then escorted down to the basement of the airport, where I was questioned for around 3.5 hours. At the end of 3.5 hours, I was told that I will not be allowed to enter German soil, that that this ban will last the whole of April, and not just that if I were to try to link up by Zoom or FaceTime with the conference, even if I was outside Germany, or I were to send a video of my lecture to the conference in Berlin, then that would constitute a breach of German law, and that I would endanger myself to having a fine or even up to a year of prison. I then was asked at the end to book a flight back to the UK. My passport was taken away from me, and then I only got my passport back as I was boarding the plane. As Germany is defending itself against the Nicaraguan charges that it is an accomplice to the genocidal war, as described by the International Court of Justice, this is exactly what accomplices to a crime do. They bury the evidence and they silence or harass or intimidate the witnesses. And so, as members of a gang that has committed a heinous crime, Germany is doing its bit in that crime, which is to ensure that there is complete impunity, and so that the genocide can continue uninterrupted. So the Jewish intellectual Hannah Arendt, in the first lecture that she gave in Germany in 1958 after the Second World War, she said, "We humanize what is going on in the world and in ourselves by speaking of it. And in the course of speaking of it, we learn to be human. There is so much peril before us. To speak of it in earnest, to understand the causes and the alternative, is to practice our humanity." And this crackdown on free speech is a dangerous precedent, because what is happening in Gaza is a dangerous precedent. We are watching the first genocide unfold in the 21st century. And for Germany to become implicated as an accomplice in silencing the witnesses of this genocide does not bode well for the rest of the century.